Surprise, surprise, the Philadelphia Eagles find themselves within another trade rumor. This one I really don't see happening, but I do want to talk about it because I think it goes deeper than just the players on the surface. Also, I want to talk about two players that I think the Eagles should probably hop on contract talks maybe a little bit earlier than a lot of people were thinking. So let's hop right into it.
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Once Jalen Ramsey was traded away, I figured that the Eagles, maybe we would have a little bit of quietness, a little bit of calm within the Eagles nation, no crazy takes, no crazy trade rumors. I was wrong. It is what it is. It happens all the time. So we do have another thing we want to talk about. TJ Watt, Eagles fans, Eagles reporters apparently think that there's some world where the Eagles go ahead and give up a Nolan Smith and some picks to go get a TJ Watt. Now, on the surface, it's a beautiful thing, right? On the surface, sounds amazing, but I kind of want to dig a little bit deeper, which we will. But I also want to talk about some guys that I think the Eagles need to hop on a little bit quicker than people probably were thinking, maybe a little bit early, but it's always better to be early than late, right? Look at the Cowboys. Now, before we get into all that, I do want to ask you guys, just hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family, man. We're like less than 150 away from 7K, which would be awesome. Let's go ahead and hit that. I really appreciate all the love and support we've been getting over the past couple of weeks, especially. But let's get into this, man. I don't want to waste no more time. I want to start with Reed Blankenship. Now, Reed Blankenship, Brandon Gotten put out a good article talking about basically what he would be making on the open market as a free agent in this safety market. Kind of went through who he compared him to. I'll leave a link down below to that article. I definitely suggest you guys go read it. But the main thing that I took away from that was the projection on his contract. Now, he said that he would probably get around 3 years, $45 million. That's a lot of money. Now, there are factors to think about, right? And I do think that the Eagles should hop on this early. I don't think that the safety market is going to, tank anytime soon. I think it's only going to go up. That's usually what you see with players, especially good players. He's not a guy that's, fundamentally reliant on just his athleticism. He's a very smart player. He's a guy that his skill set will translate to a long career, in my opinion. So when you have a guy like that, his price isn't going to go down. It's most likely going to go up. Let's get it done. Maybe this season, maybe get something a little. We got him done last year. I think we extended him a little bit because he was an undrafted free agent, but let's go ahead and lock him in long term, maybe a 3, 4, 5 year deal. I would love to see it. I think the Eagles have went through so many different safeties. If you're an Eagles fan, especially, around my age, don't want to date myself, but it is what it is. We've seen a lot of different safeties come in and out of this building, none of them really sticking. I mean, some of the best ones were like a Jalen Mills, who did we draft? We really didn't draft anyone. That's why Malcolm Jenkins was such a huge addition to this Eagles team. And you've seen what the Eagles have been able to do when they've had competent safety play. I think that Reed Blankenship is a very good yin to someone's yang. I think Makuba gives you a lot of what CGJ did, so it's a little bit more sporadic. He's all over the place. But with a Reed Blankenship, he kind of understands his assignment. He'll stay where he's supposed to stay. He'll kind of play the game safe. And I think that it's a good, again, like I said, a good yin to someone's yang. I think that he just balances out those playmakers, those crazy ball hawks that the Eagles like to get on the opposite side. So with Reed Blankenship, I would love to see them just lock him in. Like I said, 4 or 5 years, man. He's young. Let's just get that over with. Let's not have to worry about it when, the market resets in a year or two. I think that Reed Blankenship, while people aren't necessarily talking about him massively, right? I don't see a lot of Eagles fans saying, we got to get that deal done. I do think that it's something that you want to get done sooner than later. So Reed Blankenship, the first guy, I think the Eagles should go ahead and get a head start on with his contract. Now, the next guy, look, the Eagles, they take risks. It is what it is. The Eagles love to take risks. They love to just, kind of throw a dart and say, we believe in you before anybody else believes in you. We're going to give you the money now, so this way we're not having to fight, other teams or your perception of what you may be worth. And that's going to be Jordan Davis. I understand that we extended it, we accepted, I should say, his 5th-year option, right, which was kind of a conversation about whether or not we would do that. He went out there, got very in shape. He looks really good, right? He was on the Peloton bike. Shout out to him. So, but you look at what he did this offseason. You look at how I feel he's been getting better year after year. Maybe the numbers aren't necessarily there. Maybe he's not getting those eye-popping stats, but you see the difference when he's out on the field, especially in the run game, and I feel like he's only going to get better as a pass rusher the more confident and more comfortable he gets within this new body. So I think that Jordan Davis, he's a guy to me that makes a lot of sense to say, all right, how can we get this done now? That we're not killing our cap this year. Obviously, we could probably give a little bit of relief even to this year's cap, but you're just getting it over with. We don't have to worry about you when we're talking to Jalen Carter. You know, this is another bargaining chip we can bring to Jalen Carter and be like, listen, we got your boy, right? We got Nolan. We got Jordan Davis. We got your boys here. We got all the guys that you want here that you feel comfortable with. Let's meet somewhere in the middle, right? I think that this is, again, another bargaining chip to use with your star players. So the Georgia boys, I think, is something you want to keep together, right? You could even put Nolan Smith in this conversation, maybe just go ahead and give him a contract, get that over with. But I think you have to take a shot in the dark on somebody. And it's not even a total shot in the dark. It's more of, I believe in you. Maybe you're not where we want you to be, but we're going to pay you like you are, and we're going to hope and we're going to assume that you're going to get there. And I think that Jordan Davis is a guy that makes sense. He makes sense to go ahead and do that on. We have been lucky. We have been very blessed as Eagles fans and as an organization that we have been able to draft some very good players late in the rounds, guys that have come in, even undrafted free agents, guys that have been able to come in and give us valuable snaps. But when you have a guy like Jordan Davis that you are betting on the upside, even when you picked him, right? When you got him in the first round, you were still betting on that upside. I think that you've seen flashes of that upside. You've seen flashes of that consistency. You've seen consistency, in my opinion, throughout his career as a run defender, but you've seen flashes of what you invested in. So why not double down, invest a little bit more, get it over with? Again, worst case scenario, you can say to a guy like Nolan Smith and you can say to a guy like Jalen Carter, listen, maybe take a couple mil off because we had to, keep your homies around. We want to keep your friends around. So I think that Jordan Davis, is a signing that helps twofold. So he's going to be my second guy. Now, if you made it this far, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. I appreciate everybody that's done it so far. We are so close to 7,000, and I would really, really appreciate if you guys just help me out. So let's get into this last bit of the video. All right, TJ Watt. Look, the Eagles always get roped into these conversations where we're going to give up this and that, and I don't understand why Eagles reporters don't yet understand the Eagles aren't going to mortgage their future. That's just not what they're going to do, especially not for a 1, 2, 3 year player that isn't, is he an upgrade? For sure, but he's not that one thing that's going to bring us over the top. We already are there. We already are a Super Bowl contending team. I don't see how adding a $30 million 30-year-old really puts you even more over the top. Is TJ Watt an amazing player? Yes, but we already bet on our young players, right? And last year it paid off. So why not continue to bet on your players? Why not continue to bet on a guy like Nolan Smith? I see him in a lot of the conversations about trades, and it just doesn't make sense to me. You're going to give up a guy like Nolan Smith that is ascending, right? And I'm not saying that he's better than TJ Watt. He's not better than TJ Watt. TJ Watt is one of them ones, right? TJ Watt is definitely one of those guys that after his career is all said and done, you're going to be talking about him as one of the best players of his generation and possibly of all time. But players don't win Super Bowls. Teams win Super Bowls. I think that the Eagles, especially this past year, are a great example of that. So why put the cart before the horse? Why, try to do something overly flashy? That's bitten us in the rear end before. It just doesn't make sense to me. Now, it does go deeper. In my opinion, it does go deeper. Again, why break up something that you have? Nolan Smith with these Georgia guys, I think that it's going to be bargaining tools. We've said it. I said it before in other videos. I said it in this video, right? These guys are best friends. These guys have come up together. I think that the best bargaining tool you have is that community, is those people that you can kind of keep around each other and say, listen, we're not going to break you up, continue to grow together. Culture is everything. Culture really is everything. And now you're seeing other teams that culture was nothing. When Eagles brought up culture, it meant nothing. But now you're seeing other teams that have been failing for 30 years bringing up culture, right? It's a beautiful thing. So we have to continue to keep our culture. I do love TJ Watt. If I got the news TJ Watt's a Philadelphia Eagle and we gave up Nolan Smith and like a first, or I don't know what we would give up. That's also something that kind of worries me. I don't want to give up a bunch of money and draft assets. How are we going to recoup those players in 3 or 4 years? I don't want to put us in a position that we are that we just have a hole at certain positions because we wanted to give TJ Watt $30 million for 2-3 years and win a Super Bowl. Super Bowls are beautiful, and the more that I talk about this, the more I kind of change my mind. But I don't want to do it. I don't think it makes sense for the Eagles. And if it doesn't make sense for the Eagles, it doesn't make sense for me. Look, this is a conversation I think we're going to be having a lot, not just about TJ Watt, but about other players. We have good young guys, right? We have good young players, and other teams are going to want that, and it's going to be bargaining tools. We have a lot of draft assets. We have a lot of young players. We are going to be a team that's continuously linked to guys like this. So it's going to be a tiring conversation. I would love to know what you guys think, though. Do you think that TJ Watt will be a Philadelphia Eagle? Would you give up what it's going to take? Because I'm assuming it's going to be like a player and a high draft pick. I don't know if they would be asking for multiple first. I don't think so at his age, but look, if you're going to give up multiple first-round picks for an edge rusher, you're going to give up a player as well. I would look interdivision. Because I don't think Micah Parsons is going to stay with the Cowboys that much longer. But that's a conversation for a whole nother time. If you guys want a video about my opinion on that, because I truly do not think that he's going to be there that much longer. We'll see what happens. Let me know down below. Other than that, I appreciate you guys, as always, just sticking with me, watching the video, hitting that like, hitting that subscribe. I want to thank God for giving me the opportunity to talk to all of you as well, because it's always an amazing time, always a blessing, always an amazing time. Let me know how y'all feeling down below. But other than that, y'all know what it is, man. Y'all know what it's going to be. It's Fly Eagles Fly. And we out here. Peace!
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Fly Eagles flying on the team. Touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a Bird Gang Nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man saw Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season here, early time to do him in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.